Welcome to Apple Systems and Design, how to create a network cable. First, you're going to need a pair of nice heavy-duty scissors. These scissors are meant to cut cable, so please do not use any other scissors than the ones provided. Second, you're going to need a pair of strippers. These are red in color. They come in different shapes and sizes. Just make sure you only do one rotation when you're stripping the cable. I'll show you that in a little bit. Lastly, you're going to need some crimpers. You see the 8 and the 6, that's 8 pair and 6 pair. We're running with 4, which equals 8 pair. So that's where we'll be doing our crimping once we put our connector on. The paper in the background is what we're going to follow. We're going to be following the B series, not the A series. So anytime we do cables, we're always going to use B as in Bob, never A. As you can tell there, no way, just B. So the sheet behind us is the color code that we're going to follow. If you look at it, it's orange, green, blue, green, and brown. It might seem a little difficult, but at first, once you do it a couple times, you're gonna be fine with it. So I will show you now how to prep and get your cable ready to look like this. We will be pulling 2 feet out from the network cable box, and I'm using a tape measure here just to justify that we're doing 24 inches, which I'm pointing out with my finger. So roughly measure 24, grab the end with your scissors. Do not grasp yet, so you grab it, pull it out, and pull 2 feet off. Make sure you put the cable back on the box when you are finished. So now we're going to create the cable. Take the 2-foot cable you actually cut, and we're going to work on one side at a time. We're going to roughly cut strip about 2 inches off so we have enough wire to work with in here. So I show you about 1 inch to 2 inches, about right there. I put my thumb roughly where I'm going to strip. Do not put it in that first hole. You're going to put it in the open hole. Okay? When you put it on, you're going to just let it go, and you're going to rotate around just one time. Do not, I repeat, do not go more than one time, or else you will cut the cable inside. So you're going to bend it, it's going to break off, just pull. The sheathing will come off on you. And I just straighten them out a little just to make sure they're ready to go. So if you're looking at these, there's 4 different sets of wires in here. An orange, a green, a brown, and a blue, and they're all separated by, as you'll see in a second, a clear coat that's going to separate the wires so no crosstalk can happen between them. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually just pulling them out where they are, just laying them down. And the next part I'm going to do is grab my scissors. So I'm going to cut that center core out, because you don't want that center core going in the actual adapter. So you're going to take your scissors and make sure you do not cut the cable. You cut the cable, you might as well cut the cable and start over again. So I usually bring them up and then put them down just a tad, and you're going to cut right above those wires. You're going to cut, it's going to fly off. Make sure you grab that piece. You don't want that falling on the floor, especially at a customer's house. So right now I'm just working the wires, showing you right now the colors. There's orange, green, blue, and brown, which are all right here. And as I'm showing here, the center one is blue, and we're actually flipped it. So it's going to be a solid blue on the left and a white blue on the right. And as you can see, I have everything pretty much laid out to where it's actually going to go in the actual connector. So with the blue up and everything else still bent down, I do a snapping motion. Like I'm showing you, like you're snapping. You're going to snap it, and when you snap it, you can actually untwist it. It just takes a little bit. The more you do it, you're going to build calluses on your hands and fingers, and it becomes a lot easier, the more you actually get it done. So like I said, the white blue is going to be on the left, and the solid's on the right. And if I look at the chart, that is correct. The solid blue is on the left and the white blue is on the right. So I will have to switch these, which I'm doing right now. So when I squeegee these with my fingers, I'm just trying to work out these kinks, because those kinks are going to prevent you from actually putting the adapter on when you're done. And this is the trick that it took me many years to figure out, but once you figure it out, you'll find your own way of doing things. I'm going to snap the green, and I'm untwisting them now, just to get them ready. And the actual white green is going to go on the left side of the blue, and the solid green is going to go on the right of the white blue. as you can see. I apologize for the video, but I tried my best. So I got 4 right here. What I'm going to do is start stacking them together. As I'm pinching with my thumb right there, tight, but not too tight, I'm just stretching the cables slowly, and I'm putting them together. And this is the thing that I created. It's almost like an ocean wave. I'm wiggling, and I'm pulling. I'm just trying to get these little bends and kinks out of the cable, you know, just so when you actually put the adapter on, it goes in smoothly. As you can tell, it's working pretty good. They're all together, and they're not as wiggly as they were. I start with the brown, untwist the brown, and we're almost done. We're more than halfway done. So the white brown's going to go up first, and the last is the solid brown. And just keep working this. Like I said, it's like an ocean movement, a wave. So you go up and down, back and forth, left and right, and you'll eventually work all those kinks out to make it a lot easier for you. And as you notice, my left thumb is still putting pressure on that. I'm not letting go. If you let go, you might as well start over, because everything will become disentangled and just a mess. So as I'm doing the orange, I'm just separating these two, and the orange white's going to go first, and the solid orange is going to go against, and that's pretty much it. Now you just need to work them all together to fit in there. So I'm putting pressure on my left thumb again, and I'm going to work these guys together. And as you can see, I'm doing a cross axis of this up and down, left and right. It will work all those bends out and make it a lot easier than just not working the cable in general. If your thumb starts hurting, just let a little pressure off. And as you can see here, I'm measuring with my thumbnail. I'm going to hold right there, and that's where I'm going to actually cut. It's right where my thumb ends. Okay, when you cut, do not cut your finger. Make sure. Okay, cut all the way across in one single motion. Just push down, and these scissors will cut the cable. Okay, all your stuff will go all over the ground. Just make sure you clean it up at the end. So I'm not letting go of this cable. Always keep pressure on that junction point. So you're going to grab your RJ45, and you're going to put it on a nipple at the top. That little nipple at the top, that's what we call a nipple. That's what actually holds it into the switch or computer or whatever. So if you push it in, it should follow the guides, and it should work its way in there perfectly. And as you'll see in a second up close, there's a way to check if it's flush in there. So once you have your cable again, we're going to put it back on. I cut it down just a little bit. You're going to just put them in the way they're supposed to be in with the orange first, and you push it, and you can see the jacket's actually going inside the RJ45. That's a good thing. You definitely want jacket in there. If there's no jacket, just take it out and just snip it a little bit off. All the cables right there are actually in perfect order, and this is a pretty good looking cable. If you look at the top right here, you're going to actually see those cables are up top. If they're not up top, that means you haven't pushed it in far enough, and those copper connectors are not going to cut through the wire to make the connection. So next part, we're going to take the crimpers, and we're going to put it in an 8P side, so that's 8 pair. There's 4 cables, but there's 8 actual total in there. So we're going to put it in nipple end up, push in with some pressure. You're going to keep pressure on it as you're doing this, and with 2 hands, you're going to squeeze as tight as you can. It will click, and once it releases, you are good to go. And that's how you make a network cable flawlessly by Mr. Kaufman. The last thing you want to do is just inspect the cable, make sure everything's good. See how the jacket's up in there, maybe about 1/4 of an inch. That's exactly how you want it in there to make the pressure, so thumbs up to that. Lastly, always make sure you clean up after yourself. Always. So if you're at a customer's house, if you're wherever working at Apple, always clean up after yourself and make yourself accountable. Get a trash can, put it on the side, and just sweep it in. And that's all you have to do. So other than that, good luck to you and have fun.